Welcome to Fantasy Fanline.
What is up, everybody? We finally made it. Week 1 of the NFL season. I am Sanchi Value, and if you can't tell by my voice, I am sick as hell, but the show must go on. I was not missing this episode. We have week 1 coming up. We have some sit-start questions that I'm sure we'll be answering from all you. And Sinker, we made it, man. What's up?
Well, feeling good, man. You know, start of the season. I got one draft left. The rest of my teams are ready to go. Some big news broke today about, my hometown team, Kansas City. We'll get into that. But, yeah, man, ready to go. I'm ready for the season to start. I feel like I've been waiting on this all summer. So,
yeah, that's what we prepare for. This is what we do hundreds of mocks for and all the research and listening to podcasts. And we get so hyped for this. And it's here, Thursday night. Let's rock. We got some people in the chat already supporting. Max, P. Muggs. Thanks for tuning in once again. And I'm sorry about my voice. Hopefully Sinker can carry me a little bit tonight. My boy's showing up no matter what. That is right, Jonathan. Thanks for tuning in again, bud. Let's win some leagues. Without further ado, we're going to bring on Justin, a.k.a. Fantasy Follow. What's up, Justin? How's it going in sunny Florida?
Well, it's hot, but we're getting ready for football to start. Everybody's excited for the Dolphins down here, hoping Tua can stay healthy. If he can remain upright, I feel like the Dolphins got a pretty good team. I myself am not a Dolphins fan, but I get to hear plenty of Dolphins talk. I'm from Ohio. You can see repping the OHIO right there.
Buckeyes.
Yes, sir. But yeah, just excited, like you guys said. We've been grinding, back since after the Chiefs went. Speaking of the Chiefs, since they won the Super Bowl, and we jumped right into analyzing these college prospects. Began free agency. Took shape where guys were going for free agency. And began our best balls. Everybody was started best balls. That all begins early and earlier. It seems like every year. And, the prize pools are just, massive these days. I mean, Underdog has made best ball just so easy and so popular for everybody. So playing the best balls, getting our draft boards ready and, starting to draft. And, here we have, Chiefs and Lions. It looks like could be like a fantasy smorgasbord, so to speak. And I mean, I hope we get Kelce, that would impact things big time from a fantasy perspective. I think everybody's gone into panic mode from everything we've seen in the fantasy space here today. With the Kelce knee issue, and we're still trying to gather more information. But man, I hope it doesn't sound like it's structural. So, and hopefully it's not. But a lot of people are obviously relying on Kelce to be a big part of their fantasy teams this year.
Yeah, and you've been living under a rock and missed the big news. Travis Kelce hyperextended knee today. Not good. That brings us to the first mailbag question. Travis Kelce, is it time to panic? I think we'll kick this off to the Chiefs fan. I'm panicking. It's not good. Sinker, how do you feel about this sitch?
Anytime, your first round pick goes down, regardless of who it is, I mean, there's going to be a little bit of panic that sets in. But there's probably people out there on the waiver wire. They're not going to replace Kelce at all. But you could dig your waiver wire and find some guys to put him in. I do like, streaming Noah Gray if Travis Kelce is out. He's not going to put up Travis Kelce numbers, but he might be good, for 4 or 5 catches and a touchdown if he gets in the red zone. But yeah, I mean, anytime your first round pick goes down, I mean, there's going to be some panic. So I wouldn't panic yet. Let's just wait. Let's see what news comes out tomorrow. We talked pre-show. Some news came out. I don't think it's going to be, as serious as like an ACL tear or anything like that. But yeah, just hold tight right now. Don't make any drastic moves with Kelce. Just kind of wait and see.
Well, we have an interesting question in the chat right now from P Mugs. Do you think it's a wise move to draft Kelce regardless of injury at 1.9 if he lands to me? I'm personally not doing it until I hear more news. I know it's Travis Kelce. I know he's a positional advantage, but I don't want to. My first round needs to be safe. And after this news, I personally just can't do it. What about you, Justin? Would you take him 1.9?
No, I mean, I think you got to take some pause. You know, it's much kind of like the Cooper Kupp situation, you know, where you saw Kupp kind of moving down in the second round over Labor Day weekend. You know, it may not be anything, but we just don't know right now. So again, I agree with you. You know, it's just taking on too much risk with your first pick.
Way too risky. Sinker, how you feeling? I know it's intriguing at 1.9, but
Yeah. I think again, you know, like Justin said, at 1.9, like you want a guy that's gonna play on Sunday for you or Thursday, right? So I think it's a little too rich at 109, but if it starts falling into the second and it gets back to you, it probably makes sense. I think, you know, the news did break that it wasn't a long-term injury. We don't know what that means yet, though. So it could be a game, could be two. Kelce's such a good value, so I don't know. It's tough. At 109, I'd probably hold off, but in the second, I'd be tempted. And there is some hometown bias, in my opinion. So
I would take him in the second round too, without knowing any news. You know, it just he'd be a nice pick in the second round.
I mean, I haven't taken a lot of Kelce to begin with, just because of the single position. You know, it's one guy to play, you know, versus, you know, multiple running backs and receivers. I know that's become like a popular thing, you know, was the Kelce in round one and Pat Mahomes in round two. You guys saw this where everybody was doing this strategy. And I wasn't completely on board with it. I felt like you're just putting yourself at a disadvantage at the other positions and kind of, you know, you had to like kind of make your way back to and it just doesn't happen, those builds. I don't like that, but yeah, it's just, you know, it's tough. He's such a good player and it means so much for fantasy. So
yeah, I've seen a lot of people start their builds with that stack, and when their running backs and receivers look really shaky once you start quarterback and tight end. I know it's a league-winning stack, but you know, last year was a little bit cheaper. It's a new year, and I don't recommend doing it. Yeah. As far as anything else you have to add about the Kelce situation, Justin, or you want to move forward? All right. I just want to remind our guests.
I don't know if we want to talk about replacements for him at some point. You know.
Yeah, I mean, Sinker already brought up Noah Gray. I would check. I personally would check waivers for Gerald Everett. I think he's in a high scoring matchup against Miami this week, and I think he could be a guy you could squeeze in to your tight end spot and pray for a touchdown, maybe two. Who knows? Should be a lot of points there.
Yeah, Tyler Higbee's only being started in 23% of sleeper leagues, and you know, with Kupp being out, I think that's a good one.
Yeah, Higbee's interesting, especially with Kupp out. He's gaining some momentum and steam. I just drafted him yesterday, actually. I think him and Van Jefferson are both worth late round throws with the Kupp news. But yeah, you're not going to replace Travis Kelce, so no matter who you pick up, you just kind of pray and hope they could get in for a tutty. And we can only hope that if Kelce misses time, it's only 1 or 2 weeks and nothing long term.
Yeah, and if you're a Kelce owner too, keep an eye on the Mark Andrews news. I think he's supposed to practice tomorrow, but just keep an eye on that, because if he's out, if Isaiah Likely's on the waiver, that'd be a smash plug and play right there.
I like that one too. And just reminding everyone, we are a call-in show, so if you want to call in, talk to Sinker and I, talk to Justin, ask us some questions, sit-start questions, just shoot the shit. We're getting ready, so give us a call.
And you guys will know before kickoff tomorrow, obviously, that if he goes or doesn't. So that's one benefit of being on Thursday night. So
right,
yeah, it's a good thing. You will know his injury status for the Thursday night game, and it gives you time to scout waivers or prepare. So, next question in our mailbag: are we confident in rolling out any rookie receivers in Week 1? Justin, How you feeling about these rookies this year?
Yeah, I mean, there's some good ones. I mean, it's week one, so there's no injuries. I mean, you might have better options than most of these guys. I mean, I think the one I kind of jotted down was Jordan Addison versus Tampa Bay. Looks like he's about a wide receiver 3 for this week. Great matchup. Tampa Bay secondary. They're projected to not be that good, and I think Addison's one that you could possibly play. Marvin Mims looks like another one too. Good matchup there versus Las Vegas, and probably more of a flex play without Judy. So those were a couple. I feel like you might have better options, but Jordan Addison. I mean, he's been absolutely just tearing it up in camp. I mean, you guys have seen the videos. I mean, one sideline catch after another, touchdowns. I mean, him and Kirk have looked to have some good chemistry developed already, and he's going to get all that. All the coverage is going to obviously roll towards Jefferson. So, Addison, he's a great prospect, a first-round pick, and a favorite of mine in terms of this rookie class.
Yeah, I agree. I love Addison. I think you could definitely play him week one. Mims is another good one I had written down. If Judy misses that week one game, I wouldn't feel great about it, but you could definitely throw him in if you're feeling risky. Zay Flowers against Houston, possibly. If you're desperate, if you want RB heavy and you need a receiver play, I think you could play him. Other than that, I think those are the 3 guys I had. Sinker, you with those 3 guys? You have anyone else?
Yeah, I mean, I think all 3 of those guys. For me, they're more of like a DFS play, honestly. If in redraft I'm not confidently playing these guys, I want to see a week or a couple weeks of what's going on. But yeah, I mean, you guys kind of named the 3. Zay Flowers, I'd mentioned. Marvin Mims. I'm definitely going to play Mims in some DFS. But yeah.
Yeah, I know your guys' audience is pretty hardcore group. So those leagues where you play like 3 wide receivers and 2 flexes. The leagues that, we all play in, maybe something like that. I mean, I have Jordan Addison in a dynasty league and with JSN, and he's not going to go. So I got to play Addison in week one. I mean, stuff like that in deeper leagues.
For sure.
But yeah, the 12 teamers with just 2 wide receivers and maybe 1 flex, it's going to be tough for those guys to be in your lineups already.
Yeah, I want to watch, Jaden Reed for the Packers this weekend too. I think that's a name that could be sneaky. It could be a waiver wire ad.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of hype.
He's getting a lot of hype, and I don't know. I've gone up and down on Dobbs. You know how I have Sancho. You know how I feel about Christian Watson. I love Watson this year, but I don't know if Dobbs is going to secure that 2 role. And I think Reed. I'm just excited. I want to watch that game and just see how it plays out. I don't know if I would start him week 1, but keep an eye on him.
Yeah, we're all going to be in front of our TVs with our little clipboards, watching Scott Hansen, watching our teams. Speaking of rookie receivers, you have a question about rookie receivers. Are we worried about the whole Palmer playing ahead of Quentin Johnston thing? I'm personally not. Quentin Johnston's going to be involved. It might take him a few weeks. It usually takes rookies some time. It took Justin Jefferson some time to get involved. So I'm not worried at all. I think Quentin Johnston's definitely worth a late round throw that could provide good value. I still think Palmer's a good player, but I'm not worried about him being listed ahead right now. It's a long season, so you have to prepare for how things are going to be months from now and not just 1 or 2 weeks ahead. How do you feel about the wide receiver situation for the Chargers, Justin?
I am a little bit worried about QJ. Palmer, I mean, he's kind of been like that guy thrust into action over the past several years, and he's got some chemistry with Herbert. He just doesn't seem to go away. Johnston, there's just some things about him that he needs to develop some more consistency, and I would be a little concerned about wasting a draft pick on him at this point. I mean, he might be more a deeper stash or, even like a waiver wire pickup at this point right now. I just don't know how much run he's going to get if he's not, ahead of Palmer on the depth chart at this point in time.
It's a fair statement. He's definitely unpolished. He definitely needs some time to figure some things out. Sinker, how you feel about it?
I mean, I think you have to pump the brakes a little bit, honestly. You take in, what you've been watching in preseason and what the beat reporters are saying, and you have to take that information that they're giving us. I think QJ is going to be fine in the league. But yeah, I mean, like Justin said, I think there's some development stuff that he has. I don't think he's going to, hit right away. So he's a guy for me I've been avoiding all offseason because of those reasons. He's in Dynasty, I think he has good value. Redraft, though, I mean, I would take the information that's given and use that knowledge. And I wouldn't really draft Palmer or Quinn Johnson, but yeah, just pump the brakes a little bit on him.
I just see all the hype Herbert's getting, like how he's about to have this monster year. I see the draft capital, 21st pick in the draft. I see the size. The dude's an absolute freak. And yeah, I understand he's unpolished. He's had some drops in preseason. He's not looking like a pro receiver yet, but it could take some time. I'm in on Quentin Johnston. I'll be the one out here, which is fair. If you don't want to take a rookie and you feel weird about drafting him, go elsewhere. But I think he's definitely worth a flyer in my eyes. We have a sit start question. Flowers or Christian Watson? And that's Christian Watson for me. That's an easy one.
Watson.
Sinker, I don't even have to ask you, do I?
I mean, it's Watson. Nate Shot loves Zay Flowers. So all week he's been telling me about how Zay Flowers is going to hit. And Nate, I appreciate that, but you got to go Christian Watson, man.
And if Zay Flowers does hit, just be happy he's on your team and you could use him moving forward. It's week 1. You got to start the guys you drafted higher. Start your studs, as they say. Christian Watson, unanimous choice. Albert, what's up, bud? Thanks for tuning in again. Let me know if you have some questions. We're going to move forward with this mailbag. It's looking like Chris Jones will not play against the Lions on Thursday. Is Monty a good flex play? Hell, I think he's a good RB2 play if you need him there. I think both Gibbs and Monty are must starts this week, especially with Jones not playing. This should be a high-scoring game. Detroit has one of the best O-lines in the league. And I think if you have Gibbs or Montgomery, you'd be foolish to bench either of them this week. How do you feel about it, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, Monty, like you said, Detroit, they got a top 10 offensive line. He takes over the Jamal Williams role. 52.5 over under. This game could shoot out very easily. And, I think, Monty and Gibbs are both great starts this week versus Kansas City. They're decent versus the run, but, looks like some of the numbers say they're more middle of the pack to the back half of the NFL. So, no issues with getting Monty in there.
Yeah, decent versus the run, but a lot of that had to do with Chris Jones. And if he's not in there, I could see him getting torn up on the ground. Let's kick this to the Chiefs fan.
Yeah, definitely. I think Monty's a good play. I think so. The over/under is even creeping up as we get closer to it. Yeah, it's 53.5 right now, and I bet it goes even higher. I bet it'll go to 54, which I think that's the highest over/under on the week. So I would fire up pretty much every line you drafted. Even Sam Laporta, he might be a sneaky little tight end play. Without Chris Jones, and the defense did not look good in preseason, and it is preseason, it is what it is, but I definitely think this has shootout written all over it.
I did consider Laporta. I had a league where I drafted Cole Kmet and Laporta, and I considered putting Laporta in for the shootout. Probably going to roll Kmet and let the rookie sit on my bench for week 1, but it was in consideration. Justin, I'm sorry, you were saying something?
No, I was going to say, I think what I see from what I've heard is that they're going to deploy Gibbs in some special way. Did you guys see this report? And they're, with having no other
we've never seen, right?
Yeah, after Amon Ross, so it looks like he'll be in some sort of receiving role, and then Monty will be, getting all the rushing work. So, let's see what they're going to do. I mean,
I'm excited.
Sure.
I'm so excited for Gibbs. Even though he's going against my team, it's like I have so much Gibbs exposure throughout redraft and in best ball. I want Thursday night to just be this like breakout Gibbs game where everyone's just like, wow, there he is.
Want to take a screen 80 house to the
as long as the Chiefs win, it doesn't matter.
To the house. Sorry, I'm sick.
Right.
If I see that though, I might heal up real quick, man.
Right.
I might sweat the fever out fast. We got another sit start. Dotson, London, or Deontay Johnson as a flex. First of all, if these are your flex options, congratulations, because those are some damn good flex options. Deontay Johnson against San Fran. There could be a lot of points in that game, I feel. I'll go Drake London. He's my favorite receiver out of these three. Probably your highest draft capital. Week 1, I'm playing the guy I drafted higher most of the time. I'm going to go Drake London. How do you feel, Sinker?
So I think that the Steelers 49ers game, I think that's going to be a low scoring game, honestly. I do like the Steelers in that game. I like Deontay Johnson, but and I like London too, but for me, I think it's Dotson, man. Honestly, with the McLaurin news, if he's not playing, and Arizona is not a good football team, I think I'm leaning Dotson, man.
It's just that Panthers D is like I could see London chewing them up. But yeah, that's a great point. If Scary Terry doesn't play, I won't be mad at you for putting Dotson in with all the hype. I think it comes down to those two guys. Deontay Johnson's going to be great this year, but I just think it's a rougher matchup. I could see it being higher scoring than the over-under says and what people are thinking. But I lean London. Sinker leads Dotson. What about you, Justin?
I'm between London and Dotson, and I think I'm going to go London just because it looks like there's a little bit more of an advantage there versus the secondary.
Carolina.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So, but yeah, I can't fault you for wanting to get Dotson in there either without McLaurin. I mean, he's looked great in training camp and in the preseason, and he's going to be the number 1. So, yeah, it's close, but I probably lean London.
Yeah, it's really close. And as I said, Jonathan, like, congrats on drafting a great team, because those 3 are your flex options. Like, did a damn good job. We have another sit start. Keep them coming. We love this. Addison, Sky Moore, Treylon Burks at flex and PPR. So you can roll the rookie. You can roll the second-year receiver. There's 2 second-year receivers. One just lost their star tight end possibly for the week. I think I'm taking the chance on Sky Moore if Kelce's not playing. I think I'm going to plug Sky Moore in with Kelce out, or supposedly out, and hope for the big game from him, because someone's got to get the ball. He's been getting a lot of hype. We talked about how much we love Addison. Burks is interesting, a lot of talent there in a run-heavy offense. But out of these 3, I think I'm going Sky Moore. I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit and take the gamble. Plus, it's always fun to have your guys going in the first game of the year. Sinker, who are you taking?
If Kelce's not going, man, I really like plugging Sky Moore in. I think even with Kelce there, he's solidified himself a role in that slot. I think he's gonna have the juju role this year. With Kelce out, someone's got to step up, right? The Chiefs are still favored. Vegas still thinks they're gonna win the game. The over/under is going up. Give me Sky Moore, man.
Justin?
Yeah, I mean, it's close. They're between Addison and Sky. I think they're both wide receiver 3s, but Sky is going to move up even in the ranks here a little bit as we get more news on Kelce. And the one thing you can say about Sky Moore is that he's taken the most first-team snaps and gotten the most work with the ones since Tony went out earlier in the preseason. So Moore has been the one consistent thing with the ones. They're going to bring in Ross and the rookie Rice on special package plays only. That's the early news. Sky's going to be in the slot and be a consistent thing for this team. So both secondaries can be taken advantage of that Addison and Sky are facing. But without Kelce, I mean, that's like a no-brainer, I think, to put Moore in there. And I think it could go with them even if Kelce does go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was getting drafted with hype, even with Kelce healthy. So the Kelce injury news only boosts Sky Moore's stock like through the roof. Sorry, I'll cut you off, Singer. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say I love that take, honestly, Justin. I think it's if you have Sky, man, plug him in.
Yeah. I think so.
And you can't trust Tony. I mean, phony Tony. Isn't that what Spencer the Guru likes to call him? Phony Tony.
Oh, yeah, Tony. That's hilarious.
I mean, we all tried to get on board earlier in the preseason when the Chiefs dubbed them, their number 1, and then now they're only looking for their number 2 behind them, and they kind of Well, I mean, he got hurt, but Tony kind of sold us up the river again here.
Yeah, if he could stay healthy, I think he would be, a great player in this offense. But, your best ability is availability, and Tony can't stay on the field. So,
yeah, bad track record with staying healthy. Jonathan again, who will break out first? Jalen Warren, Chardonnay, or Gainwell? And start week 1, 14-man league. I don't feel good starting any of them, but it's a 14-man league, and if I had to, I'm probably going to start Jalen Warren. I like what I've seen from him. Steelers love him. I'm not crazy sold on Najee. I have plenty of Warren stocks. I think all three of these guys are great later round dart throws. It's cool you got all three. I don't trust starting any Philly running back. Charbonnet. Seahawks have who week 1? They have the
Rams.
Rams. Oh, maybe them. That's Warren has San Fran, a better defense. I'm changing it. I'm going Charbonnet. I'm picking Charbonnet out of these three for the week 1 matchup. I think the Rams are toast. Justin, how do you feel?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you play game script there and the Seahawks get up, that you could see some Charbonnet late in the second half there. Kenny Gainwell, I mean, we heard the training camp reports that he's actually running ahead of everybody amongst Tim, Penny, and Swift. I don't know if I'm 100% believing that. I mean, I still think it's Swift, but we did hear a lot of Kenny Gainwell buzz. That's a good offense. I mean, that's a great offense, but we kind of still don't know, what exactly we're going to see there. So maybe just a game script play with Charbonnet. I still believe Najee's the lead dog there. I know there's been a lot of Warren hype, and he's a good player. He's a good change of pace back, but I just feel like that offense has to run through Najee. He was great after he got, what was it, the screws or plate taken out of his foot last year. He was struggling early on in the season. Then he was like top 10, or he was an RB1 after the plate was removed. And all the training camp reports is that, Najee's the dog, so I'm not so in on all the Warren stuff. I mean, that's just me.
Yeah, it's completely fair. It's Charbonnet. You already said the game script, and I think Seattle's going to be up big. So I'm with you there. Sinker, who are you taking out of these three?
Yeah, I'll keep it simple. I like Chardonnay. I keep saying Chardonnay. I can't get that out of my head.
Like a fine wine.
Like a fine wine. Yeah, the game script take is great. I think there's a the catching ability from him is going to be there. So he might already get work with that on third down. And then, game script, he's probably the go-to guy for me. I just don't think Jalen Warren or Gainwell, I'm not buying into the Gainwell hype either. I think what we're going to see from the Eagles is completely different on Sunday. I think it's, they're going to, run a lot of Swift, and then we'll kind of see. But Jalen Warren, the upside is there. But, yeah, it's Najee's backfield until he loses it. So the Steelers have high draft capital, baked into him. So they're going to run Najee's wheels off. If he starts falling off, then Warren might have, upside later in the season. But for now, I would keep him on your bench.
Yeah, it was funny. You saw today, Philly, I think they announced their depth chart, and all four of their backs were the RB1. They're just confusing everyone, man.
Yeah.
I don't want any pieces of that RB.
Yeah.
It's
and
dirt cheap.
Walker did miss time, with the groin injury, so they could kind of like baby him, or get him out of there quick if they're up. So you could get Charbonnet. I said those piston pumping knees of Zach Charbonnet. This guy runs like a maniac. I mean, it's so disappointing that he ended up there in Seattle with Walker. I mean, the fantasy community just had to was looking for the nearest bridge, so to speak, because it was like, wow. I mean, this guy could have been so great on his own somewhere, and then now he's paired with Kenneth Walker, and they're kind of like their values are just so depressed here for their rookie contracts. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, not to mention landing with Pete Carroll too, who Pete Carroll does not care about your fantasy team, and Pete Carroll is going to do the opposite of what you think Pete Carroll is going to do. So I was pretty bummed too when he went there.
And if Pete Carroll says that that his player's healing good, you might as well plan his funeral.
Right.
You ever see that joke? Like if Pete Carroll says, if you ask Pete Carroll about an injury, and if he says the player's progressing, he's probably closer to death than we think.
Yeah, there was a running back last year. Who was it? So I think one of their backs was hurt, and it was like all season. He's like, "Oh, he's good. He's practicing. Yeah, he'll be back." And it was like months went by, and I had just holding on. I can't remember who it was, but
moral of the story: do not believe Pete Carroll. Nate Shaw with another question. Tank Bixby or Deuce Vaughn as a bench stash? It's Tank Bixby for me. As much as I like ETN, I think Deuce Vaughn's just a gadget player. I think they'll both be involved, but I think Tank will be involved more. And I think if ETN goes down compared to Pollard going down, I would want Tank Bixby. I think he's more of a guy who could handle the full workload. So that one's pretty easy for me, Nate. Sinker, who are you taking here?
Yeah, I'm taking Tank Bixby. I'd been hyping him up all offseason. I'm going to stick with that. Deuce Vaughn is intriguing, man. He's a small guy. I don't know, man. I don't even know if he's the 2 on the Cowboys, to be honest with you. So Tank Bixby is definitely the 2. If ETN goes down, I think Bixby's a league winner.
And Deuce Vaughn's someone I would definitely take in the last round of my drafts and see how it plays. But in the last round of your draft, Tank Bixby will already be drafted, So that pretty much answers that one. Justin, you agree on the Tank Bixby side?
He's going like round 9 or 10 or something like that. He's going pretty high. But yeah, he's looked great. I mean, I wasn't that high on him as a prospect, but man, he looks good. I thought he could be like just the goal line back to like kind of give ETN a breather there, but like he's doing more than that. I mean, he looks good in all areas. So, I was kind of almost like, wow, could he really steal like some passing game stuff from ETN here? Because he's regarded as like one of the top pass blocking running backs in this rookie class. If you look at like PFF, you look at their stats where they graded pass blocking last year. He's up there with right behind Roschon Johnson, who's the best in the class. So, ETN hasn't showed to stay healthy. I'm still buying that ETN. We could get some stuff, big breakout this year. And, but yeah, Bixby, he's doing a lot better than expected.
I think ETN and Bixby are just 2 completely different runners, and I think their styles complement each other very well. And I've been saying it. Watch out for this Jaguars team, man. They're gonna be good. They're gonna be damn good.
Yeah.
Facts. Get me all hyped, sick over here. I'm getting hyped. Thoughts on Damien Pierce in the 4th round? Love it. Absolutely love it. I think Damien Pierce, he runs like someone stole his bike. He's a hard-nosed runner. He's by far the most talented player on that offense, in my opinion. I don't love that week 1 matchup against Baltimore too much, but like in the 4th round, I'm drafting Damien Pierce. I mean, obviously it depends on the board, but like 90% of the time, I'm probably taking Pierce if I need a running back in the 4th. How do you feel about Pierce, Justin?
So this is one close to my heart because I was definitely a Damien Pierce truther last year. He didn't get a lot of work at Florida. He was kind of like unheralded and taken in the 4th round. But he became the lead back right away. Was fantasy viable early on. And, like what people don't know is like Damien Pierce, he was like the best running back at the Senior Bowl. Like if you look at scouting and, Rashad White was there, Brian Robinson was there. I mean, it wasn't a great crop, but he was the best back there. And, he immediately asserted himself there. B-Rob was like running up people's backs at the Senior Bowl like he continued to do last year. Wasn't more, was just such a plotter. And Pierce just stood out there. And that kind of led me to say, I really like this guy. And then, going into this year, it's like he's lighter, he's trimmer. He looks good. He's like, they're telling him like, we want you to catch more passes. That's why we wanted you to lose the weight. And, Singletary's just going to be an afterthought. And now we see this report the other day from some beat reporter saying Singletary's going to get like, part of the, like, where did that come from? Why, how was that just like a report now right at the end of camp? Like we hadn't heard anything about that. It's been all Damien Pierce. So, he could catch passes. We haven't even seen that. I mean, I think he had a high percentage of targets and catches last year. He was good on that, but we're going to see more volume from him. And they brought the coordinator from the Shanahan tree there, and that's going to be good for him. And this coach is only going to want to play defense and run. This rookie coach, he's a defensive minded guy. It's going to be Pierce. He's a great pick in the 4th round, and I'd love to have him as my RB2.
Yeah, no, Sinker feels the same way because we're all in the league together that Spencer runs, and Sinker and I split a team, and we got Pierce as our RB2, and we were pretty damn stoked about that. But Sinker, what are your thoughts on him?
I mean, Justin, hit the what is it? The nail of the hammer on the head. Yeah,
that one got me fired. Now that one got me.
I mean, and he's in preseason. He's staying on the field. He's not coming off the field. They're keeping him on the field. So I don't know. I don't know what the beat reporter is talking about, but my eye test in the preseason, I think they're going to run the shit out of the ball with Damien Pierce. I love Damien Pierce in the 4th. He's the best player on that roster. I honestly believe that.
I'm with you there, man. And Singletary does not scare me one bit.
Yeah,
no, obviously he'll get carries.
Stroud's got to rely on the running game. I mean, it's
all
there. It's all there.
So unanimous on that one. Big Damien Pierce truthers on this show. I just got the sleeper update that both Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall will play on Monday night. Who are you more confident in for week 1, and who are you more confident in for the whole season? Justin, I'll let you kick this one off.
This is a tough one because I think the mentality out there is that it's Cook, and because Breece is coming back from the ACL. In actuality, Breece has actually been running with the ones more than Dalvin, because Dalvin was late getting in camp, and then I think he got married, and then he had an injury he was coming back from. I'm not sure because we don't know. We don't know what they're going to – I mean, it's probably going to be 50-50, but it could be 60-40 Breece to Dalvin. I'm not I can't look into a crystal ball here, but, the report that Breece has been practicing more with the ones kind of it's contrary to what everyone is thinking is going to happen. So, that's kind of my take there as far as the Monday night game.
Yeah, honesty is key here, and the truth is we don't really know, and no one does. If they tell you they do, they're lying. We have to wait and see. We have to wait and see for Monday night. But if I had to make my choice, I talked how much I love Breece Hall. I've always been a Dalvin Cook guy too. More confident in for week 1, it's Dalvin Cook, but for the whole year, it's Breece Hall. I think Dalvin Cook's going to be way more involved early on in the year, as I discussed on one of the episodes we had. But I think Breece Hall is a league winner. When he starts to get going towards the end, if you are in a playoff push or you already made the playoffs and you have Breece Hall on your roster towards those last few weeks, I think that's going to be cash money, and I think that's when he's really going to get going. And if you set yourself up in that situation, congratulations. I will look into the crystal ball. Breece Hall, league winner later in the year. Sinker, what are your thoughts on the Jets' backfield?
I mean, this is a nightmare. If you drafted both of these guys, you just put yourself in a huge pickle. But I think there's
limit your upside.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said, about Justin's point that Breece has been running with the ones. Dalvin, came in late to camp, and I know Breece was hurt, but started practicing a little bit before Dalvin. And I think Aaron Rodgers is a huge trust guy, right? So he has to trust you back there and blocking for him. So I don't know if he has that necessarily yet with Dalvin. I think he handpicked it and wanted Dalvin to come in. But if Breece has gained his trust and knows the scheme and knows the blocking, I think Breece might be the guy you want to play week 1. And then confident for the whole season. I don't know, man. I've been off Breece Hall all offseason just because of the injury, and I think it's super hard to come back off of the ACL injury. And then with the Dalvin signing, but I don't know. It's tough, man.
So another thing I kind of bought, I heard, and I don't know if you guys agree with this, is that Dalvin will get all the between the tackles grinder work, and Breece is going to get all the dump off receiving work. So, which do you want to play?
I could see it the opposite. I think Dalvin could be the the receiving guy. And Brees
Coming back from the ACL? I mean,
coming back from the ACL, yeah, probably not, but later in the year. But we're talking about early
for week
here,
one,
right?
yeah.
Week one, yeah. For week one, I could definitely see that. It's definitely a nightmare for week one if you have these guys, especially against the Bills.
Yeah, you probably didn't draft both of these guys, so you're probably going to start these guys regardless and just hope for the best. And I know that's probably not helping you, but it goes back to if you drafted them where you drafted them, you probably got to play them.
I mean, I got a call between Brees and like Antonio Gibson, and I'm like sitting here, I don't know yet. Who do I play there? I mean,
man, Gibson, if McLaurin doesn't go, man,
probably Gibby, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm playing Brees. But,
dude, yeah.
I love Brees. Sinker knows that.
I know you, and it's like, man, if we didn't partner up on this show, I probably would be completely out on Brees. But now it's like we're going into the season, and I'm like, man, I have like no Brees exposure, and that could kill me. So
neither do I. And I have 2 more drafts tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe I'll take my first share. Speaking of drafting tomorrow, Jonathan's drafting tomorrow, and he's asking to rank these 3 players: Devonte Smith, Olave, and DK Metcalf. I think all 3 are amazing options, but Sinker knows Devonte Smith's my guy. So I think you have him in order for me. I know it's not going to be popular putting Smith over Olave, but that's how I rank them. Justin, how do you rank these 3?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's Chris Olave time all the time. So, I actually did an article about Olave recently on drroto.com. That's where some of my work is up. And I just said that I felt like, Michael Thomas getting back on the field to play the X and work, the short to intermediate routes. So the Saints had injuries last year at the wide receiver position. Olave had to move away from his normal position as the Z, or, the guy that runs deep routes, and come and run shorter routes. So Thomas is back. Olave is going to be able to go back to what he does best. And I just, not that there's anything wrong with Devonte Smith, but, Olave is the bona fide wide receiver 1. I think Carr also, there's some advanced metrics there. He's pretty good with deep balls. And you'll see some of those advanced stats, like next gen stats, where, Carr can find people on the deep ball. So I'm thinking, like Olave had all these air yards, but not, no connections. I think
right.
Carr's going to, they're going to realize some of those air yards and hook up here. And again, nothing wrong. No disrespect to Devonte Smith. I mean, he's a dog, in a great offense. He could even outdo AJ Brown. We've seen all that talk. I mean, they're 1A, 1B type of scenario. And then I'd have DK third amongst the group, just because he's actually kind of similar to Tyler Lockett with their stats over the last several years. I mean, they're not really that far apart. I'm actually drafting more Lockett than Metcalf this year, just because he comes at a cheaper price. But yeah, I mean, I'd go Olave, Smith, Metcalf for me.
Yeah. I think your mute is on.
Yeah, that's completely fair. And I know a lot of people think I'm crazy for putting Devonte Smith over Olave, but they're literally back-to-back in my rankings. And, if you want to go with the Olave's elite, and I think Devonte Smith is too.
It's kind of splitting a bit of a hair. Yeah. I mean,
who are you feeling at the time? What offense do you trust in more? What player do you think will finish the most? We're taking Smith or Olave over Metcalf. That'll answer your question. Sinker, how do you rank them?
Yeah, Olave, Smith, DK. Similar to what Justin said. I think Olave. I think his target share last year with injuries, I think it was around 25% or something. And then he was super high in air yards, top 10, I think. So I just think all the pieces are there. There's another question, Nate. We'll get to that about Michael Thomas, but I think Michael Thomas is dust, man. I don't think Michael Thomas has anything. I think Olave is going to demand the target share again. If he gets that. He's not fighting off an AJ Brown like Devonte Smith is. That's the biggest thing, right? So,
isn't Carr a dink and dunk? Isn't a peak Michael Thomas better than Olave? Well, what was that? Peak Michael Thomas was 1 year, or all his years at Ohio State. Carr's got a deep ball, man. Go watch some Derek Carr highlights. That man can sling it. Am I late, Justin? From Max. You're not late. And if you are, it's better late than never. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us. We're all excited for week 1. It's 2 days away. Huge game. We'll do a couple more mailbag questions. We'll answer Justin. It's Sebastian. I have to flex Pacheco and Sky Moore. Should I swap one with Tony? All in on the Chiefs. Yikes. I'm playing Pacheco, and I think I'm playing Sky Moore. We discussed them earlier on. Tony could be a good play, but this one was for Justin, so we'll let Justin answer it.
Yeah, this is my buddy. Pacheco. I'll go Pacheco. I mean, he's guaranteed to get the volume.
I think he has to play 2.
Oh, he's got 2?
I think he has to play.
Well, Sky Moore and Pacheco.
All right. Yep. I'm with you there. And Sinker, who's
I can't trust Tony. I can't trust Tony right now.
Yeah,
Tony the phony baloney.
Yeah, it's wait and see on Tony.
I think Tony's gonna run like 10 routes, man. To be honest with you, I think it's gonna be like design plays in the red zone, like what you saw in the Super Bowl. So yeah, wait and see. So yeah, I think Pacheco and Sky, and I like both those plays, man. Honestly, Pacheco is, I think he's being hated on a little bit. Like the Vegas lines we were looking at today for rushing and receiving it. I like the overs on the rushing for sure. Especially if the Chiefs get any sort of lead. I know Andy's going to try to establish a run. So I like both. I like Pacheco and Sky Moore.
Yeah, unanimous on that one. Let's get into our next question. I guess this is for everyone still drafting. Justin Herbert or Justin Fields? This is a tough one. I lean Justin Fields for the rushing upside. And what we saw him do in those last 7-8 games last year, I think he's a special player and he's a league-winning type of player. With that being said, if it's 6 points per passing touchdown instead of 4, I think I lean Herbert. These two players are back-to-back on my QB rankings. It's like neck and neck. It's like how I'm feeling that day. But rushing QBs are fantasy gold, so I got to go with the guy who can get you 10 points on the ground. It's Fields for me, but it's freaking damn close. This is a hard one. Justin, who do you prefer?
Yeah, my namesake here, huh? I guess I got to go with the Buckeye too. Yeah, I mean, I'll Fields. We kind of already saw him blow up. The rushing element will still be there. They added DJ Moore, which will kind of like help to give him that bona fide wide receiver 1. We've seen a lot of these quarterbacks, once they've got that wide receiver 1, they've really settled in as much better pocket passers. So I think we got to kind of like, take that what we've seen, and Herbert, I mean, I know they got Kellen Moore there. If I got to hear another reference to Kellen Moore this offseason, guys, I mean, geez, I know he was a pretty decent coordinator down in Dallas, and they had some high scoring finishes, different years. I mean, they were 4th over the 4 years he was there, whatever was point score. I mean, they have good like numbers when Kellen Moore was there in Dallas, but I don't know. Did they like blow you away with like that they had these just like, unbelievably high explosive offenses there in Dallas? I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, I got to wait and see. I mean, like, you hate to be like kind of like scorned from past years of fantasy, but like, I mean, Herbert, man, he was just like, he was bad at times last year. And I know it wasn't all his fault. They had injuries to his wide receiving core and problems on the line, and he was dumping off to Eckler, continuously. But, I just think we got to see it a little bit more. We kind of already saw Justin Fields was like that top fantasy quarterback. And now he's got DJ Moore, and now he's got Roshan Johnson. Don't get me started about Roshan, but I want to somehow fit Roshan into this. But
Go ahead. Talk about him.
No. It's I don't know. It's just we're talking Bears, but yeah. So Fields, by a slight. I mean, again, we're kind of splitting hairs here. They're ranked, back to back with each other. I think that 4-6 touchdown. That's good analysis there, Sanchi. Yeah, I agree with that. Like maybe if it's 6, you go Herbert. And 4, you go Fields. I mean, they are that close.
Yeah, because Herbert's probably most likely going to throw more passing touchdowns. So those extra 2 points per touchdown, they could be huge, but they're both getting but Fields is going to run more in. Those are 6, that's how I lean there. Do I even have to ask Sinker this question? Because Justin Fields, if you don't know, is one of Sinker's my guys. So I'll just let him take a few seconds and let us know why.
I mean, the rushing ability alone is what draws me to Justin Fields. If we're talking strictly fantasy football, I think the upside and the ceiling for Justin Fields is much higher. And the floor, honestly. Justin Herbert, I like your point on Justin Herbert, where last year there was games where he literally was losing fantasy managers weeks because of his performance. And I think we're super quick to forget that. He was drafted last year kind of with the same expectations of what we're all going into this year. And yeah, I get the Kellen Moore effect, and I think the offense is going to be a little bit better, but we got to see what's going to happen with that before we immediately, crown Justin Herbert, with this huge breakout quarterback season. Where Fields, we saw that. I mean, he ran for, I think, back-to-back weeks of over 150 yards. Like, that's crazy. You're only getting that, dude. You're only getting that from a couple dudes in the league, and in fantasy, man, with that rushing upside, it's huge. It's everything. And then
he buys so much time in the pocket.
Add DJ Moore, man. Add DJ Moore, and I know everyone's no one's drafting Claypool, but that's just another big body target for him to throw the ball to. I don't know. I'm buying into the Bears. I'm buying into Fields. I think he's
Fields to the moon.
Yeah.
I think Herbert's almost closer to Lawrence. I was having a tough time deciding between those two because T-Law ran a little bit more than Herbert. So they were so close when you project them out over the year. And I think I had T-Law one spot ahead of Herbert in the rankings. It's some people were asking me about that. I'm like, it just came down to the numbers. Yeah, I mean,
just a pure pocket passer, right? If that's what you're getting from Herbert and Lawrence, I know Lawrence runs a little bit, but I mean, give me Trevor Lawrence, man. Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk, and Evan Ingram, that's sick. That offense is nice.
Ridley looks unbelievable, doesn't he?
Yeah, I made sure to grab him in a few leagues. I couldn't pass up. At first, I was skeptical. I was more on the Kirk side for the better value, but the videos I saw of him, he looks unreal, and I'd kick myself all year if I watch him go crazy. And I'm a Lawrence guy. How can I be a Lawrence guy and not be in on Ridley?
Right.
And it wasn't an injury. He was out of football because of a gambling thing. So it's not like he's coming back from some injury. So he looks sick. He just looks so sick.
And he's one of us, man. He's just gambling on the
NFL. I would definitely catch a beer with Calvin Ridley if I had the chance. Daniel Jones or Geno Smith is my second quarterback in a super flex. For the whole year, I prefer my boy Jones, but I think that Cowboys matchup is tough. I think it's not going to be a high scoring game in my opinion. I think I go Geno against the Rams for week 1. I think it's a way better matchup. How do you feel, Justin?
Is it just for week 1 or is it for
week 1 or is it season long?
Yeah. If it's season long, I go Jones. But if it's a week 1 question, I'll roll with QB5, Geno Smith.
Yeah, I mean Jones because of the design rushing plays, that Dable, likes to dial up for dimes. I like Geno though. I mean, I don't mind Geno as a second quarterback in Superflex. I definitely don't mind him, but I mean, maybe, just Jones by a little bit because of the rushing. Darren Waller, he's got Darren Waller now too. I mean, that's certainly going to help the cause. Darren Waller, another guy that just looks sick right now. And, that's the tight end I'm targeting. If I can't get Waller, then I'm just waiting. Most of the time I'm either Waller or I wait.
That's the tier break right there.
Yeah,
for sure. P-Mugs, I don't know if this is for season long or week 1, but I don't think you can go wrong with either of these two as your second quarterback in Superflex. I think they're both awesome QB2s for Superflex. You could have way worse, but if it's strictly for week 1, I lean Geno. But Danny Dimes, break out. Let's go G-Man. Sinker, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, I think you guys nailed it. season long Daniel Jones for all the reasons you guys mentioned, and then week 1 Geno. I don't really have anything else to add to that really.
Yeah, it's like in Geno, what's this regression talk? Oh, he's not going to be as good as he was last year. It's like, well, now they got JSN, who's just a sick, prospect. I mean, how's he not going to be as good as last year?
There's a lot of weapons.
You add a player like that. I mean,
and another running back too, another toy for him behind the line. So I don't know.
Yeah, and Chardonnay, he's a great receiver. So
right,
good point.
Got a couple more mailbag questions. We'll wrap it up. Any good IR stashes before week 1? And the first one that comes to mind if you're in a keeper league is obviously Kyler Murray. You could snag him really late, and you get to keep him the next year for dirt cheap. But if this is just for a season long, I mean, Jonathan Taylor, does that count? I mean, you're drafting him, you get an extra roster spot, but it's not like you get to draft him late. It's later than he was going. Like, where's he going now? 6th round, 7th round if you're lucky. I don't know.
I had one that came up the other night in a home league draft. Jameson Williams was still on the board in like round 15 or something like that, and I grabbed him, and then it threw him right on IR, and I drafted like Marvin Mims. I was able to pick up Marvin Mims, so I was like, that was the one I could think of. People have kind of forgotten about him. Yeah.
Yeah, not every league will allow a suspended player on IR. I know some do, some don't. So you'd have to double check your league settings.
Yeah,
but
I think that's an ESPN league. This was an ESPN.
If you could draft Jameson Williams and throw him on your IR with the suspension, that's a damn good one. But Sinker, you have any good stashes? I don't like to draft IR stuff. I don't really think I want the guys playing around.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I don't even know I don't like to do that either. Is Zach Moss still on the IR? Like, that's kind of maybe a sneaky one. Like, I don't know. Did they activate him? Maybe he comes back with Jonathan Taylor. Like, maybe he's the guy there, right? Maybe he still falls into a committee. But just trying to think of like a sneaky running back you could throw on there. Kyler Murray, I don't even think it's worth the draft capital for him. Like
Jeff Wilson.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
Jeff
one.
Wilson. That could be a good one.
Yep.
Especially because there could be more injuries there. So.
You get him back. His agent's already saying he'll be back in week 5. So
yeah, what's in that water down there, man? How come everyone gets hurt?
Yeah, I don't know. They've been besieged by injuries. Yeah,
it's crazy.
P Muggs, let's go Giants. You already know. All right, one more question. Do you think MVS will get more looks than Pacheco and Moore? I do not. I would rather have Pacheco and Sky Moore over Valdez-Scantling. 7 days a week, twice on Sundays. Any of you want MVS? Or you think he'll get more looks? He'll get looks, but I don't think he'll get more looks.
So MVS is what you saw last year with MVS is like what you're going to get with MVS in the Chiefs offense. Like his whole purpose is to try to stretch the field. So I think Pacheco and Moore, still those are the two guys you want to play. So I wouldn't make a move to get MVS or anything like that. On Thursday night, will he get opportunity? Will he get targets? Yes, but I still think Sky in the slot and Pacheco they're going to get way more volume than what you're going to see with MVS. MVS is a great football player, but for fantasy football, he's not going to be consistent enough for you to want to have him on your roster.
He's a good best ball guy. If you have Mahomes, maybe
best ball, yeah.
Best ball,
yeah. If you're doing showdown on Thursday, definitely put MVS in. Is it out of the range of outcomes for him to catch 8 balls and score a touchdown? No, but I don't see that happening. I don't think it's that likely.
You with us here, Justin? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, that's my buddy Seabass. I thought, I taught him better than that, but to bring up MVS on this show. So.
It's
tough though, question. Right? It's a valid point. With Kelce going down, someone's got to plug in. So I don't know. I get it. If you're browsing Twitter or X as they call it now, people might be talking about MVS, but it's just not worth it. Don't fall for it.
Got one more. Time flies when you're having fun. This is a fun one. Favorite game day food and beverage. It's a good one with week 1 coming up, and I'll just keep this short and sweet. I like a nice pizza and a cold beer. Maybe some wings. There's some wings in there.
Can't go wrong with that.
What's your go-to on game day, Sinker?
Oh,
Justin, you could.
No, I guess I'm chomping at the bit to
I got it, man. I live in Kansas City, man. On game day, I got the smoker going. I'm putting a pork butt on, maybe some ribs, man. I'm barbecuing on game day. That's what I'm doing. Beverage, man. Give me an ice cold Mick Ultra.
Watching the carbs, huh?
Yeah, we gotta watch those LBs, man.
I'll take the IPAs. You give him the Mick Ultras. I'll take your IPAs. Justin, what are you munching on game day?
Yeah, probably I always get this buffalo chicken dip. And
it's the best.
Yeah, just with a cold one. Once football comes on, it's like, you got to have a cold one. And
of course.
Yeah, I just crack one and just watch the games. Well, not just it turns into more than one, obviously, because the games go all day long.
Yeah.
And then normally it's a light beer too, so trying to make sure to not consume too many calories, but
watch the LBs, man.
Yeah.
that's something I need to work on. Maybe I'll switch to the light beer this year. A special shout out to chili when it's nice and hot out. Nice and cold out. Nice like Crockett chili in December.
Absolutely.
We got stress and White Claws. Definitely stressful. Don't stress too much though. Remember, we do this for fun more than anything. Don't let it get to you. We made it. This was my Michael Jordan flu game show. I hope I didn't do too bad. I appreciate you two for carrying me. Justin, it was great to have you on, man. If you want to take a few minutes and let the people know who you are, what you're about, what you do, go for it, man.
Yeah, so thanks for having me, guys. I mean, I've been a fan of the show and competed with you guys in a couple leagues. So when you asked me to come on, and it was an honor and a pleasure to do so, and had a lot of fun here. We got some good takes in, and hopefully we help people as they get prepared here for their drafts, their final drafts, and then as we go into the season beginning here. So so you could just catch me on fantasy.follow on Instagram. I'm on there year round, putting content up, trying to help people. The other day, we did some stuff where like ADPs were shifting, with Labor Day high stakes stuff, and just throwing out like, where guys were aggressively getting drafted, because in those high stakes leagues, things can just like change so rapidly. But just stuff like that to just try to help people that are, trying to be the best fantasy players that they can be. And all my professional work is up on drroto.com. I've been lucky enough to work with a true Hall of Famer there in the space, working on his staff to put up fantasy content. It's been an absolute blast. And all my content's on there. Jump on there. Don't literally when I came on board, I mean, if you guys are serious about DFS, I have not seen this level of commitment to DFS. They've got people that have won the million, the mega million. I mean, they are constantly talking DFS on there, and I've gotten a chance to see some of the content. And it just has blown me away. So take a look, jump on drroto.com. I mean, you might win $1 million. I mean, they are just putting up great content. So I'm part of the Fantasy Pros expert ranking community there. So all my ranks are up. So appreciate you guys helping me to kind of get a start for that. I got to get all my ranks up here too. So had me thinking about that. And so that's it.
Well, thanks for your great energy, man. Thanks for all you do for the community. And thanks to everyone watching, typing on in. Good energy from Justin. There it is. Thanks for typing in. And week 1, ladies and gentlemen, we made it.
We did it. Let's go.
Enjoy the games. For Fantasy Follow, for Sinker, I'm Sanchi Value. I'm sick as hell, but it can't stop the hype. This has been Fantasy Fanline. We will see you next week. Peace.